Yes, welcome once again, everyone. Cannabis News with Joe Klare is January 3rd, 2019. Presented, as always, by the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Click that video tab at marijuanatimes.org to find the show. A bunch of great articles there as well. Today we're talking about stories out of Georgia, Oklahoma, and Oregon. All of that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside and their organic, all-natural pesticides, nature-side.com. They're a proud sponsor of the show. If you're a cannabis grower in a state where it is legal, you don't want to use harmful pesticides, you don't want to use banned pesticides, you want to be regulatory compliant, you want to grow safe and poison-free. You can do all of these things with Natureside, nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of the show. Side is spelled C-I-D-E. Go and check them out. This first story on Georgia from Julia Granowitz, marijuanatimes.org. Georgia lawmakers are finally considering legalizing the cultivation and sale of medical marijuana. As you may know, in 2015, the state of Georgia legalized medical cannabis oil with a 5% THC or less, basically CBD oil, for patients with epilepsy and similar seizure disorders. Since then, they have expanded that law to allow 16 other conditions, giving the state's current 6,000 registered patients the ability to legally possess and use the medicine they need. But the law did not make it legal for cannabis to be grown, processed, or sold in the state, leaving patients with no way to access their now legal medicine. But that may be changing this year. Could the state legislature consider legislation that would allow the plant to be grown and sold in-state? Lawmakers would be considering allowing up to 10 growing licenses, 10 manufacturing licenses, and a quote-unquote adequate number of licenses for dispensaries throughout the state. There's currently no timeline to suggest how long after passing legislation applications would begin to be accepted and processed. The prospect is reality now when it wasn't a year ago. So things moving along in Georgia. Excuse me. So let's check that story out at marijuanatimes.org. A bunch of great other stories as well. And as I said, this show, the video tab. You can also find this show by searching the Marijuana Times on Apple Podcasts if you want the audio-only version of the show. And, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the little notification bell. Let you know when a new episode has been posted. This next story is from AP, Associated Press, apnews.com. Oklahoma quickly becoming medical marijuana hotbed. That's right, hotbed. We've talked a lot about the rapid rollout of medical marijuana in Oklahoma. The last time we talked about it, I think it might have been shared on some kind of website where a lot of Oklahomans go to, because a lot of them came to the comments explaining why things have gone so well and so quickly in Oklahoma. It's really been remarkable when you, and this article points out as well, in other states have taken literally years to even get applications going to get these programs, whether medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, to get these programs going. Oklahoma has done it in a very short amount of time. They mentioned North Dakota, Ohio, and neighboring Arkansas approved medical pot in 2016, but have yet to see sales amid legal wrangling and legislative meddling. But unlike every other state, Oklahoma officials created no list of qualifying medical conditions that has prompted a flood of applications for personal licenses to purchase pot. Since August, more than 22,000 have been approved and thousands more are in the pipeline. There are now 785 licensed dispensaries in Oklahoma. That's right, you heard that correctly. The ballot measure passed on June 26th of 2018. Some small Oklahoma towns have as many as a half a dozen. Norman and Stillwater, the state's two largest college towns, have 45 combined. There's more than 1,200 licensed commercial growers in the state as well. An amazing rollout, rapid, quick, other words for rapid or quick. And it really, from this point on, whenever like somebody, a lawmaker in the state says, "Oh, well, it's going to take, it's going to take a year and a half to get this thing going," you say, "Well, what happened in Oklahoma? Why is Oklahoma so special, and why can they do things that every other state can't seem to do?" It's kind of odd. I mean, they're part of the United States, right? I mean, I'm I remember my geography. I was pretty good at it. It's like right in the middle. Oklahoma. Right in the middle. The continental 48. It's not like they're somewhere around the world. They're right here. They've had no... They even had a really rough start. We've talked about that. We talked about it a lot in the episodes back in late June, early July. They had a really rough start with their medical marijuana program. There was a lot of problems. There was a lot of like bribery and rules that weren't supposed to be, and maybe legislative session, not legislative. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and yet here they are. Amazing. The other states, it's just more difficult there, I guess. Things are more difficult in other states than they are in Oklahoma. I don't know. It's amazing. Maybe we should all move to Oklahoma if things are easier there. Nobody told us. No one told me, hey, things are easier in Oklahoma. I would have moved already. I'm looking for easier. I'm looking for things to be easier. And if that happens in Oklahoma, well, count me in. This last story from Columbian.com. Oregon may look to export marijuana, the state's glut of legal weed, causing prices to plummet. I've seen like $40 ounces. I mean, I don't know if those... I've seen pictures of dispensaries advertising $40 ounces. I don't know if those are photoshopped or if those are real. Obviously, people in Oregon know better than I do, and they can leave a comment in the comments section. Marijuana could take the next step towards joining Pinot Noir and craft beer on Oregon's list of famous exports under a proposal likely to go before state lawmakers in the new year. The Craft Cannabis Alliance, according to the Statesman Journal, it's a business association led by founder and executive director Adam Smith, is working with legislators to let Oregon start exporting pot to other legal weed states, or weed legal states, however you want to put it, by 2021. Among them is Senator Floyd Przansky, a Democrat from Eugene, who said he also plans to reintroduce provisions from Senate Bill 1042, a similar proposal that died in the State House in 2017. Apparently there's a ton of supply in Oregon. Way more than demand. Of course, that's why prices are so low. That's how supply and demand works. So they want to try exporting cannabis to other states. I mean, obviously, in the end, hopefully, they can send... Marijuana can be sent wherever. If you're in Oregon and you want to send marijuana and ship it to a store you may own in Missouri, you'll be able to do that. So this is a good... Anything that increases supply for other people, increases supply for marijuana consumers as a whole, anything that opens the gates to more relaxed laws when it comes to interstate commerce and things like that, those are all good things. So yeah, Oregon has a lot. Export it. Make some money, whatever. Do that. Send it out. I mean, you should be sure the black market's already doing that. They're exporting a ton of weed from Oregon. The legal businesses in Oregon might as well be able to do that too. But Chemist Sabet, president of the anti-pot group Smart Approach to Marijuana, can't imagine any states would agree to some kind of, export deal with Oregon. He says, I can't imagine any state would agree to do this with Oregon. It looks like a desperate attempt to tackle the out-of-control black market production that has happened in Oregon since legalization. The state should be focusing on how to reduce overall demand and supply. There's not tackling the out-of-control black market production. As legal prices have plummeted. That means legal supply far outstrips legal demand in the state. That's why legal prices are so low. It has nothing to do with the black market, other than whatever competition the black market provides to kind of pull those prices down. But mostly it's a matter of supply. And I'm not surprised that Kevin Sabet is as ignorant of economics as he is of other things. Then he says, we need to focus on how to reduce overall demand and supply of marijuana. How are you going to do that? I think there's a word for that. It's called prohibition. If we attempted that, that didn't work. You can't reduce overall demand for marijuana. You can't. And you attempt to reduce supply, well, that creates all the problems that the prohibition created, because that's what prohibition was, an attempt to reduce supply of marijuana, which made this marijuana more lucrative and more profitable, which created more people who wanted to get into the illegal marijuana business, which fed on itself, and that's how prohibition works, and that's why it doesn't work for economic reasons. But again, Kevin Sabet is not was not an expert on much, to put it that way. Not to put too fine a point on it. Thank you all for checking out the show. Cannabis News, another show in the books. As I said, check us out on YouTube and Vimeo and Apple Podcasts. MarijuanaTimes.org as well. Of course, thank you to NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thank you all for watching and listening and sharing and commenting on these videos. Thank you for watching and listening today, and we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.